Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Game Breakdown. I am Kristofer Solomon here with another video, and today we're going to be looking at the set collection game Meadow. So before we go any further, if you are looking for a more streamlined, condensed video where I just kind of go over a summary of the game and give you kind of an overview of what you're going to get from this game, then go ahead and click this link here. That will take you to our burst video, which will take about 3 minutes, and we'll knock out all of the important details of Meadow. But if you're looking for a longer style video where we actually get into the details of setup and play, then stick with us right here. So like I said, Meadow is a set collection game. You're going to have some hand management. You're going to have some open drafting because everyone that plays is going to be using these path tokens that they will slot in around the board to try to draft these really beautiful cards where there is different animals and plants and things. And then you're going to be playing those cards down in this area here called your meadow to show the observations that you found as you traipse upon the nature. So, you know, there's nice little bunnies and houses and stuff like that, but each card has an icon that it requires to be in your meadow before you can play it. So you're kind of building these stacks and columns, and then you're also playing on a campfire board, trying to score goals before your opponents do. It's pretty quick, goes back and forth. There's also a solo game that comes in the box. It's pretty good too. At the very end of this video, if you skip to the last chapter, I'll go into some details on the solo mode. So other than that, we'll look at the setup first, then go over the actions that you'll find on the path tokens, and I'll take a couple turns back and forth, and then again, I'll knock out the solo mode so you can see that. So before we go any further, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel here so you can stay up to date on all the new videos we come out with. You can also go to the website at boardgamebreakdown.com. We have text reviews and links to our other videos. We're also on Mastodon, we're on Instagram, any of the social networks, you can find us there. So without further ado, let's get started with Meadow. All right, welcome to the setup portion of this video for Meadow, and we will be setting it up as if we are playing a two-player game, but I will give you a few bits of information as far as what you might do if you have more players, and if you're interested in how to play solo variant, then you can skip over to the last chapter where I'll give you the information on how that works. So here are the main boards. So you have over here your main board that the cards will be on, and then over here is the campfire board. So let's set up this board first. So you'll see up here we have these three decks of cards, and then there is a deck of cards back behind here that you will bring out when you're halfway through the game. But you will just separate these cards at the beginning. Like you'll see all these are east, and you'll set them in these cool little holders that you get. It's pretty nice. They've got this cut out here so they fit right in there. But you'll basically just separate those into their holders, north, south, east, and west. You'll start the game with west, south, and east here, where I've got them. And again, you can put north back here. You'll use a few cards from that at the beginning, but not too many. And you're basically just going to draw cards out, and you're going to place them in their correct columns. So west is here on this first column. South, you're going to fill in the next two columns. You might hear my bossy dog Penny in the background barking. I don't know what she wants, but we obviously are not catering to her every need at the moment. Do that. And then you've got your east cards over here. You'll notice some cards look different than others. If you skip over or continue to watch when we get to the gameplay section, I'll go over quickly the different cards that we have. All right, so now let's hop up here to the campfire board, and you will see here in this little bush area, there's two people. So this is the board for two players. There's also a board for a single player, and then there is another board that you get with the game that is right here, and this is for 3 players and 4 players. And you'll notice that there's going to be more spots around the campfire, and this round tracker over here is going to be slightly longer when there's more people. So just pull out the right board for the amount of people that you're going to have and place it there. You will also get these little green tabs, and they are to fill in spots here, because the less players you have, the less spots you'll want. So if you're having 2-player, you're going to use these and fill in 2. So I'll just do like that. So that's going to leave us 3 spots to play on the campfire. Then lastly, you will have these tokens here that are flipped upside down. These are your goal tokens. They're going to match icons on the cards. So you're going to just draw as many as you need to fill in the square little, I don't know, maybe they're seats around the campfire. So I'll just throw some in here like this. We'll talk about what these mean in the gameplay section. The rest of the goals can just slide over to the side. You have a little hiker guy to track the rounds. You'll stick him there. You'll also have these are road tokens. We just need to put those up in a pile that's easy to reach. And then you will have your little section where you will get ready for your personal spot. So right here, I'm going to set up my spot. I won't set up the second player because there's not really room to see what's going on there. But you will get a ground card. Everyone gets one of these. It's 2-sided. You don't know yet how to choose which side to start with, but we will talk about that shortly. So you're going to get a ground card. I want to stick that there for a minute. You will also grab the little action path, I think they're called path tokens, in whatever color you're going to use. So we'll be using this teal color. You'll see there 1, 2, 3, 4, and a question mark. Depending on how many players you have, you might not use the question mark. So just check the rule book for that. And then you will also have these 3 2, 3, and 4 tokens, and this is what you're going to use to score the goals that we put around the campfire. So we'll have those. Again, if you had another person, say we were playing against purple, they would get their same assortment. And then you're going to have the first player marker, which is kind of important here for setup because it's going to determine who gets to draw cards first. So in our example here, we're going to pretend that our player, the teal player, is going to be first. So if that's the case, the purple player is going to come over here and they're going to select a whole row of cards and take that whole row. So again, you don't exactly know what means what at the moment, but I'm just going to pretend that purple wants all of these. So if I grab those, they would come off the board. They would go over into purple's hand, and then purple also grabs 1 north card. So that would be their starting hand. And then we're going to refill. Guess you don't have to have them turn the right way, but I'm kind of like them to be. All right, and now we are going to take our turn, and we are going to grab a set of 4. So we'll grab these. And then again, we will also grab a north card, and that is our beginning hand. And we will fill this back up. Grab too many of those. All right. At that point, green or both players would decide where they want to put this as far as what side they want to put it on. So let me quickly look at my cards. And we'll start with this side. I'm going to move this other stuff out of the way slightly so we'll have room to put our cards down. All right, so that's where we'll end on the setup, and we'll take a quick break and jump over to the actual gameplay. I'll explain all the actions and take a turn or two, and we'll go from there. All right, welcome back. We're going to jump right into the actions and the gameplay. And if you'll remember, we put our starting ground card out here. We have our hand of cards, and then we have all of our path tokens. So I think what I want to do first is just kind of go over the anatomy of a card. So the ground cards we'll start out with, and all the east cards are always ground cards, but the ground cards are going to have an icon down here that is like grass or leaves. You'll see on this side, it's like a leaf. So there's a few over here, like this sandy thing here. There's some like marshland. So you'll have that there, and then you'll have one typically icon up here on the left side. Some cards don't have an icon on the left, but instead they have two of the ground icons on the bottom left. And that's typically all you're going to see on a ground card, but I won't promise there aren't some other things. And the ground cards are going to be played in your meadow, which is your main area here, and they're always going to be the start of these columns that we're going to be building. Okay, so you're never going to start a column with another card. It's always got to be started with a ground card. Now let's take, for example, let's look at, well, this one's a little not complicated, but let's just use this spider guy. All right, so this card is something that they're basically observations, something you might observe on your walk through the meadow. And so it's a little different from the ground card. What it's going to show you is in the bottom left, how many victory points you'll score if this is in your meadow at the end of the game. The big square in the top is the icon that you're going to have in your meadow to help you play other cards. And then this little kind of, I guess it's like more like a, I don't know, an arrow shape, a house shape, a square with a diamond top. I don't know. Any of those will work, I guess. That shows you the requirement. So to play this in your meadow, you would have to have a butterfly visible. Okay. Most all the cards have some sort of requirement like that as far as just a single one. Sometimes you get these that have the slash. That means you could play it if you have a frog or one of those little, it looks like a croissant, but I know it's not. But I don't know what it is. So if you had either one of those in your meadow, you could play that. This one, you'll see it's got little arrows to the left and right of the house icon. So you would have to have a house icon in your meadow, and this would need to get played to the left or the right of it. And then sometimes there are ones that require multiple requirements. This one required both of those things to be in your meadow. And most of the north cards, these ones that are in the back here, have a lot more requirements. So that's why they come out later in the game. So I'll show you in our hand. This is the north card that we drew. So it's worth 3 points, but you'll see it requires 4 different ground cards in your meadow. So you don't start out with a lot of north cards because you really need to build your meadow up in order to use those. There are 2 other types of cards. This is something that would be played in, instead of your meadow, it's played in the surrounding area. So that's kind of like an area up here that you'll be keeping. And these are worth usually 2 to 3 points. And down here, it shows you that this is this type of surrounding or landscape area. And again, you've got the same little like arrow, square, diamond thing with the requirements in it. So a lot of these early ones just require a road token. So that was these over here. I did forget that in the setup, each person is supposed to start with one of these. So let's put that here and put one over there for purple. So if you played that, you would need a road token to put there. On top of these, you get to play things that you found in your surrounding area. So this might be some sort of map that you picked up. An artifact is maybe what it's called. And so it also has a requirement. So all it requires is one of those surrounding landscape cards, but some of them require more. Some require landscape and a house or something like that. So that's the main anatomy of a card. You're not going to really see anything much more difficult than those. They'll just be different combinations of them. So why do we care about what's on the cards? So the whole point of the game is you're going to be trying to draw cards into your hand and playing them to make these columns out here, and hopefully score the most points at the end of 6 rounds or more if you've got more players. So how do we get cards? Well, that's where these come in. So you'll see that these are kind of double-sided. Again, we've got this sort of pointy pathway arrow thing. So let's talk about the pointy side first. If you use the pointy side, you'll notice that, if I can pick it up, that they slot in perfectly with this board. So the way you draw a card is, if I want to draw this card, I place the 1 here and I count over 1, and it enables me to pick up this card. But for the rest of the round, that space is taken. So you can go down here and you can say 1 there. I could do a 4 over here and say 1, 2, 3, 4 and draw that. So there's a lot of different ways to get the cards that you want. But as the round goes further along, then you do start having a lot of pathway tokens taking up these spots, and you got to get a little tricky on how you pick up your cards. There is the question mark, which means you could use it for any number that you wanted. So when you place one of these, so like that, 1, 2, I'd pick this one up. We would immediately flip the next one and put it over. So we'll just go ahead and do that. This one goes into my hand, and then I immediately can place a card in my Meadow. Okay, so it does not have to be the card that I just picked up. It can be any of my cards, but it does need to meet the requirements. So let's look at this one. This one needs this grassland and the croissant, whatever it is. Well, I've got a croissant and I've got a grassland. So you're going to take this and you're going to place it over like that. So I no longer have a croissant, but I still have a grassland and I still have a butterfly. So there are a couple of rules as far as where you can place them. Typically, you have to place them on a column that includes the requirements. But some of these cards like this, where it has 2 different requirements, either or, you could choose to put this on, say, the croissant or the frog. But this does get a little tricky because when you cover up the thing that you had before, that might break a combo that you're trying to do. Maybe I'm really trying to get this one over here, say it was worth 3 points, but I just covered up my croissant, so I would need to figure out another way of getting one of those. So that's going to be the main action you take with the arrow side. The other thing you can do is you can flip them over like this, and you can use the flat side around the campfire. So each of them gives you a different action. So if we'll look at this, if you put it on this side, allows you to take any one of these cards into your hand. Now note, as you do these, once you play them, you put them here, you do the action, and then you're done. You do not get to lay a card down like we did when we drew from this board. So I guess it's a little bit of a penalty because you're getting to do maybe a more powerful action, but you don't get to play a card. Also, if 3 people in a 2-player game, or one person uses 3 other things, and all these are taken up, you can no longer place anything at the campfire. This one allows you to draw 2 of those road tiles. This one allows you to draw 3 cards from any of these decks and keep 1 card and put the other decks downstairs, or underneath the deck. This one is the only one where it allows you to play cards. It actually allows you to play 2 from your hand. And then this one, much like the other, lets you slot it in there and choose any of these powers to do. The other additional thing you get to do when you use the campfire is, let's just pretend that I've done this. I've picked up my card. Then I can look at the goal area over here, and you'll see that like here's a flower and here's a bird. If I ever have a flower and a bird both showing in my meadow at the same time when I use the campfire, then I can come over here and I can grab one of those 2, 3, or 4 tokens, and you can take the spot there. So now nobody else can get points for having a bird and a flower. Now maybe later on, I end up having a mushroom and a tree. I play something on the campfire. I can also put that down. So you can put them down before you take your campfire action or after, but you do have to actually take the campfire action. So that means if at the, you're going through a round and we're something like this, where all the campfire spots are taken up, and I say, oh, now I've got a bird and a hawk, well, I'm going to have to wait till next round because at that point, all the spots are taken. So you're going to go back and forth until all the path tokens are used up. At that point, you will move your little round guy up 1 stone. You will pick up all your path tokens. You'll hand the first player marker to the other player so that they can go first, and you will just start again. The only big change is eventually you're going to get past the 3rd round, and when you pass this little hourglass, at that point you're going to scrap all these cards. You're going to take the south off of the board and bring the north one in, and you're going to refill the board. So again, the north cards have a little more complicated and more requirements, so they're going to come out, and then you're going to just play 3 more rounds like so, and you will be done. And then you'll have your meadow, you'll have your surrounding area, and everyone's just going to count up the amount of victory points that are showing on every card, plus the victory points that you have gotten for the goals, and at that point, you are done. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what's going on there with the game. So what we will do now is take a quick break, and then we'll just jump into some gameplay back and forth. Again, I'm probably not going to show you the actual meadow for the purple because it is kind of takes up a lot of space, but you'll at least get to see the green. So be right back. All right, so let's jump right back into the gameplay. So we're going to keep this turn for the teal people out here. That was a legal turn. I'm going to show you quickly. This is the ground side that I'm choosing for the purple. Again, it's off the table, or not off the table, but off the camera. So you won't have to really worry about what's going on there. But it is purple's turn. So I'm going to grab up their path token here, put it there, count over 1, and grab this. So they want to go ahead and get one of these surrounding area cards out. Remember, they do need a road, so they'll plop it over there. And because they picked up a card using this, they do get to immediately play a card. It does not have to be that one that I just took. It could be one from their hand, but there it is. All right, so hopping back over here to my side of things, so we can look at my hand. So I have a ground here. So I have my surrounding area, but it needs a house. So if we look around the board, and like this house needs a stone ground area, which I don't have any. This house needs another house. So right now I don't really have anything I can do with the houses. So that's sad. I have a butterfly out here, so maybe we can look around and see if anything needs a butterfly. This one, the spider, that needs a butterfly. So we could do that, or we could just put another ground out so that we could get some other things going on. So let's do that. Let's we'll grab our 4 here. I'm going to put it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and snag this. Even though it doesn't have an icon up here, it gets me 2 more types there. I'm going to start a new column like that. All right, so we'll jump back over to the purple, and let's see. we'll just say 2 there, 1, 2, and pick this up. Oh, I did forget to fill this card in. So he has a bug out from that ground card. He's going to play this one because it just needs a bug. Gets him a flower, so we're good to go there. All right, so now I've got one of these stone things out, and remember I really want that because then I can get this house out. So what I'll do is, you know, what the problem here is that if I take this one, because I can't come from this area because it's taken, I got to use my 1, and then how am I going to get this? But that's why you have the question mark. So I'll go ahead and grab that, and I'm going to put it out there. So let's see. For purple, let's say that he's not really sure what he wants to do. He doesn't like any of these things on the board, so he's going to slot his in over there, and he's going to trigger this, which gives him 3 from any pile. So let's say he wants the west, 1, 2, 3, and he'll look at them here, and he has, remember, he already has one of these cards out, and he needs an artifact to go on it, so he's going to keep this. The rest of them that he did not pick, get right in there. So back to teal, we are going to now use our question mark, and let's do the question mark here, and we're going to use it for 4 and count over and grab this, which all I need is the stone, and now I have the stone, so I can go bam, put that right there. Let's refill that. Let's look at what purple needs here. They really need like a frog or a croissant looking thing. He still has his 4, so let's do that. Put that there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gets him his croissant. Go and put that down. I really wish I knew what those were. If you know what they are, I see them in the yard all the time. They fall off something. Maybe they're what becomes like a pine cone. That's probably really wrong. If you know what they are, leave it in the comments and let me know what this little thing's supposed to be. I could probably look it up in the rule book, but no thanks. Okay, so I got 2 left here. All right. Not sure why I have 2 left. I think I did something wrong there because oh yeah, it's because back in the day during the setup I used the 2 to grab that one, and then that's fine. You still get the point. So let's see. Oh yeah, remember this? We need a house, so let's use this. But to put it down, I need to be able to, I gotta pick up a card. I can't just put a card down. So let's do, what's a good looking? You can also look at my goals up there. So it would be nice to have a hawk or a mushroom, but there's not really any of those out here. So you know what? I'm going to say like this. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to put this one into my hand and refill it. And then now that I have a road and a house, I'm going to put this up here. So that will be that, and I will toss my road away. So that was all of my tokens, and now it's time for purple to take their last turn. And let's see. If he could get a tree, let's do that. Let's do this. Get this tree, put it down, because that will give him a tree and a flower out. And so next round, he can actually grab that. So at the end of this, we would move this up 1. We would take up all of our tokens. We would pass this to purple, so purple could go. And at that point, we would be good to go. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how you play. What we'll do now is just take a quick break. I'm going to reset this up for solo mode, and give you a few chances to see how the solo mode is different. It's very, very similar to what we just did, but we'll go from there. All right, welcome back. So we're going to quickly go over the solo mode and what's different about it. So for your personal setup, you're still going to grab a color, have all your path tokens. You are going to use the X or the question mark, and you are also going to have your normal 3 goal tokens because you are going to play on with the campfire. The AI is not going to play up here, but you'll see that we flipped it over to the one side, or the one player side, so now it only has 3. You're still going to use 2 of the little blocker things here, so it leaves 3 spaces. So your side is pretty normal as far as that is concerned. You will also still get one of the normal starting ground cards that you'll put out there. As far as the other player goes, the AI, they're going to get all of the other path tokens that you don't use, so all the other colors, and we're going to just mix them up and then just either put them in a pile or a stack or whatever, because we're going to be drawing those. You're also going to grab one of, well, you only have one of these, and you'll have that out there, and then you're going to have 3 tokens like this that don't have anything but just this design on them. So you'll get the 3 that are not the color you're playing as, and you're going to just randomly mix them up, and then you're going to throw them on this little map. And that's going to help decide where the AI tokens or path tokens are going to go. All right, so we still are going to grab 1 row of these. So let's just say I want this row, and I still grab a north card, so that's going to be my starting hand. We're going to refill that. Then the AI is going to grab the top row and a north card, and these are just going to get like stacked up in a pile because they are never going to actually play anything. You're going to just be getting them cards and then counting them all up at the very end. All right, so in the solo game, the AI always goes first. I'm going to put mine out here for that side. So you're going to just grab a random path token, flip it over, and look at the color and the number. All right, so if it is a number and not a question mark, it's going to be played over here. So you're going to look over on this side, and if I pick this up, you'll see that this is numbered 1 through 4, 1 through 4, 1 through 4. So if I put this back, we'll match up the color. So this is going to go on this side over here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to slot it in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the AI is going to get that card. You just throw it into their pile and you refill. Now it's my turn. So I'm not going to spend too much time trying to figure out what I want to do. Let's just say I want to, let's see, I need something with a bug. There's nothing that eats it. Oh yeah, there's. Okay, so let's do this. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Let's grab that, and then I can immediately play that out there like that. Okay, so you grab another one for them. So now we've got purple 3. So we look over here, and we're going to count up 1, 2, 3. So that's going to go there and grab this, and it just goes into their pile like so. And then we would go. Let's just pretend that I say, oh, we should probably fill that in. 2, let's grab that new card. And let's play this ground. Okay, so you get the point of that. So the only real thing you got to be aware of is if you grab, let's say we turned over this purple 2. So we come over here, you say 1, 2, oh, it's blocked. So at that point, you're going to go clockwise, and you're going to just stick it in the next open spot. So this would go here and say 1, 2, and that would be what the AI gets. The only other thing is if they grab a question mark, Okay. If they grab a question mark, they're going to just slot the question mark one in the campfire board, and their turn is done. So again, they're not going to use any of the campfire actions. They're not going to try to grab any goals. They're basically just going to block those. If they grab a question mark and these spots are already taken, you just discard it and move on. So you'll go back and forth basically until you run out of path tokens because they have so many. You pick these all up, you move the round guy, you shuffle all their path tokens again, and then they go first. Just like the main game, when you cross over the hourglass, you're going to scrap the whole board. You're going to take the south, switch it out for the north cards, and then you're going to refill the board back. And then at the end of the game, you're going to count up all of your meadow and surrounding area cards, and then you're going to take the AI's cards, and you're just going to count up all the victory points. And what the goal is basically to score more than the AI. If you score more points than them, then you win. And then at that point, you can see if you get your highest score ever. So hopefully this has given you plenty of detail on this little game. I've really enjoyed it. The AI, it's not as complicated or, let's say, smart as a lot of the things that I've been playing recently, but it does its job. It blocks you, it takes cards, so it's a set collection game, so you still have to figure out how to build the best selection of cards in your meadow. And I do wish that it had some sort of mechanism to play on the goals, because in a multiplayer game, that's a nice little tug of war area. But oh well, that's really my only big fault with the AI. But this game's got great artwork. Love the watercolors. The theme of it is nice, where the cards, say the spider has a bug icon, and what does the spider eat? Well, maybe it eats some sort of butterfly. So that's the requirement. So that's neat. So really like the production. Happy with the game. I know it has an expansion. I would love to try that. So appreciate you watching the video. Make sure to go visit the website at boardgamebreakdown.com. You can find us on Mastodon. You can find us on Instagram. And just love for you to subscribe and check out all of our content as we continue to make it. Thanks all.